favorite videos to film every single year is the Allure Best of Beauty Awards list. So they just dropped their 2024 list, and today I want to react to all the products that they awarded. And I know there's always a lot of speculation about these lists, and they're not always seen as super trustworthy, which if anything is more of the reason I really enjoy doing these videos, to tell you which products on the list I actually think are worthy of really high recommendation. So this year they gave out 357 awards, and they're across various different categories. We've got some makeup products, some tools, hair care, skincare, and I'm gonna include a little bit of everything. Some of them I think were definitely worthy of the praise, and some of the others definitely confused me. But I want to start with one that is seemingly kind of random, and this is a product that I might have seen on the list without trying and thought, okay, that's so weird that deserved an award. But it is this brush from Tangle Teezer. This is the Tangle Teezer Ultimate Detangler, and it is $16. And this, out of everything on the list, was the one that I was like screaming about with excitement. This is the best brush I have ever used, and I never thought I would say those words. A brush was something I always felt incredibly indifferent about. I'm like, a brush is a brush. Like, sure, a bad brush might be memorable, but I've really never had a brush stand out in my eyes as something remarkable until I tried this brush. And it's funny because I got this brush in PR maybe a year or two ago, and I thought to myself, okay, I already have a brush, so I'm not gonna keep this, and I passed it on to my friend. And then a month ago, I was in Michigan for my best friend's bachelorette, and she had this brush, and I forgot to bring a brush with me, so I borrowed it with her permission, to be clear. And she told me before, she was like, I love this brush that you gave me. It's the best brush I ever used. And I remember thinking, okay, it's just a brush. How great can it be? No. This is the best brush I have ever used. The way that it glides through my hair without ripping through the hair, I feel like so many brushes, I have fine hair and it gets tangled very easily. This glides through it to the point that when I got home from the trip, I ordered the brush. And again, I already had a brush. Normally, I don't like to have an excess of things. I'm like, I have a brush, I don't need another one. This was such a standout product to me that I immediately had to add it into my life. And I'm like, everyone in my personal life, I've been like, have you heard about the Tangle Teezer brush? So I will try not to rant as long about all the other products, but this one in particular absolutely is worthy of the praise. It is a phenomenal brush, and I am generally so indifferent about brushes. Like, you can't really get me excited about a hairbrush, but this is the exception. I don't even know what it is. I don't know how they did it, because I look at it and I'm like, yeah, this just looks like a brush. It doesn't look like anything special, but the way it glides through the hair without ripping through my very fine strands is kind of like magic. Okay, that was kind of random, but let's do base products. So my current favorite foundation won an Allure Best of Beauty Award, and it is this one from Fenty. This is their Soft Lit Foundation. So this is kind of like the sister foundation to their original launch of the, now the name is, I'm going blank, the Pro Filter, that's it. So this is the more hydrating version of it. The packaging is pretty similar, but the formula is quite different in my opinion. This is much more comfortable on the skin. Not that the other one is uncomfortable, but I think this is more skin-like for sure. It is a glowy foundation, but I wouldn't describe it as anything hyper glowy, even if you have oily skin. I don't know it's necessarily one you need to stray away from, because I don't think it's over the top, but I do think it definitely provides more hydration than that original version of it does. The original was a pretty average foundation for me. It's not a standout. It's not one I'm reaching for on any consistent basis, but this foundation is phenomenal. The way that it replicates skin, it looks so natural. It's like you're wearing very little product. You're always going to see that you have foundation on if you have foundation on, but I think this is one of the more undetectable formulas on the market. It has a little bit of like a satiny finish to it. It's not full on super dewy, sweaty, glowy looking, because some can be too much. I think this really sits in that comfortable range, and the wear time is fantastic, just like any Fenty foundation. This has been one of my most used products of 2024. I feel like you can already see a really big dip in the foundation for only having it, since it launched. Definitely deserved the award. Though, they also awarded the corresponding concealer. Well, not corresponding, but the newer Fenty concealer. It is the weird, why can I feel like whenever I say this, it sounds weird. The We're Even concealer. So that one retails for $30. I did not like that concealer. I passed it on to a friend. I felt it made my under eyes look pretty dry. It had decent coverage to it, but nothing exceptional in my opinion. It just looked very makeup-y on my under eyes, and it didn't sit well, especially once I sat it. It didn't sit once I sat it, but you know what I mean? Like once I tried to add powder on top of it, it would just react in a strange way, and I felt like my under eyes never looked nice when I wore it. If anything, they looked worse than if I just didn't have anything on. So I did not like that one. I feel like I've heard some polarizing opinions on it. I know many people that really love it and a lot of people that didn't. For me, I don't think this needed an award. I don't think it's a great concealer, and I really wouldn't recommend it. Also in the base category, the Supergoop Protect Tint won an Allure Best of Beauty award. I don't dislike this product, but I don't think it needed an Allure Best of Beauty award. I don't know that in my eyes it has quite reached that status. I reviewed this one in my most recent speed review, so I can leave that link down below if you want the full, slightly longer review on this one, but I think it's a little bit tricky with a lot of these hybrid products that are SPF and coverage, because naturally you have to apply a significant amount of the product to then receive the desired SPF coverage. And then you run into this really tricky balance of like, it just looks heavy on the skin because you have to apply a lot of product. And what I found strange was the description that Allure lists says, I wear this as a light layer after my serum to give me a warm, dewy glow that lasts throughout the day. I'm a little bit concerned by that description because I think a lot of people, again, are seeking this out as a form of SPF, and you can't really apply this as a light layer because then you won't be getting the SPF protection. So I don't dislike the product. It's one that I'm using on days when I'm not really doing makeup, but I just want to get a little bit of evening out and then also the sun protection, but it's not a standout product for me. Honestly, I think it was a little bit irresponsible to even include that description on the Allure website because, again, it suggests that you don't need a lot of this, and you do. So I don't think this was award worthy. The Beauty Blender, the original, mine's a little dirty, but you know what they look like. The original Beauty Blender won an award as well. I think it's definitely a classic product. I know it's very pricey considering there are so many others on the market that are also really fantastic that are about half the price or less. But this is one that I do think if you are willing to splurge on it, in my eyes, it's a phenomenal sponge. It is one of my favorite versions of it, unfortunately, even though it is the most expensive. It's one that I definitely think is worthy of owning. I think it's a phenomenal product. I really think the drawback is just the price tag. Another product in base, but this is also kind of skincare, we'll talk about them together, but the Drunk Elephant D-Bronzi. You might be thinking, Kelly, that's not the D-Bronzi, that is the Be Goldy. I know. Imagine it's the D-Bronzi because I passed my D-Bronzi on to a friend because, spoiler, I don't like the D-Bronzi. So that one already, I don't think this deserved an award. But I do know a lot of people do really enjoy the D-Bronzi for the what am I saying? The bronzer drops. I just don't. I don't think it's a remarkable formula. If anything, 9 times out of 10 when I apply it, I think it makes my face look dirty. I think it makes my skin look worse than before because it is doing nothing to even out my complexion. If anything, it's just making it a little bit splotchy. That being said, I do have fair skin, so that might be a factor. If you are a little bit tanner than I am, perhaps the tone of it would be phenomenal. But at this point, we've seen every brand attempt to dupe this. One of my favorites, probably, especially the more affordable one, is the Milani one. So something I might recommend if you like this type of product but want something at a more affordable price point. But I get that this is really popular and everyone loves it, but I don't think it was worth an Allure Best of Beauty award because I really didn't like the product. I think that it just makes my makeup look worse 9 times out of 10. We also have the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Skin Tint. So this is another one that I know is incredibly well loved, but it is just not well loved by me. Unfortunately, this was something that I wanted to love, but the way that it sits on my skin, it kind of separates in a weird way. It doesn't lay as smooth and it doesn't look as perfecting as a lot of my other favorite foundations. And even other skin tints that are competitors of this product, I don't like this as much as those. It's also super glowy, which isn't my preference generally. I mean, that's more of a preference thing, but this for me was a pretty underwhelming product, though I do know so many people love and rave about this. So I understand, like I'm unsurprised to see it winning an award, but if it were up to me, personally, Kelly, I would not have given this an Allure Best of Beauty Award if I worked at Allure. And actually, we're gonna go a little bit out of order here and I'll tell you a little story time for this next product under fragrance. So the Perfumes de Marly Delina fragrance won an Allure Best of Beauty Award. This is the best floral fragrance. I do not own this, but I'm very familiar with this scent. I love it. Every time I walk past someone wearing this scent, I'm like, you smell amazing. And that's where the story comes in. I was at a bar in the Lower East Side and I'm sitting next to this girl and she smells phenomenal. And I said to her, I'm like, you smell fantastic. Are you wearing Delina? And she was like, yes, I am. And then we start talking about the fragrance a little bit and she leans in and she's like, actually, I work for Allure. And when was this? This had to have been, it was pretty early this year. Quite a few months back. Definitely not in summer, I don't believe, but she's like, I work for Allure and we're actually testing this and considering it for a Best of Beauty Award. It is against this. And then she named another fragrance. And I don't know that she was supposed to tell me that, but I was glad that she did. And I remember telling her in the moment, I was like, you should give it to that one. It smells great. So that one has an Allure Best of Beauty Award. And perhaps I influenced it. No, I'm just kidding. Absolutely, I did not influence it whatsoever, but that was a fun story that I wanted to share. Okay, I guess since we're talking fragrance, they also gave an award to this. I just have a little baby of it, but this is DedCool Extra Milk. This won the award for the best musk fragrance. I love this scent so much. It's definitely a more subtle skin scent. You have to be rather close to the wearer to smell it. So that's a bit of a downside to it in my opinion, but I know for some people that's what you're after when it comes to perfume. You don't necessarily want to like hit people in the face with a scent. This would probably be like a signature favorite of mine if it had even more projection than it does and even more wear time. No, wear time. I'm thinking of this like makeup. What would I want to say? Longevity? If it lasted longer. If you could smell it on my skin for even longer than you actually can, this would probably be a tip-top favorite for me because the scent is delectable, but what holds me back from purchasing it in the larger size is the scent, or is the fact that it doesn't last as long as I want and it doesn't project that far. That being said, I mean, that's kind of built in. It's not necessarily supposed to be a super fragrant perfume that you can smell from across the room, but I feel like it just kind of gets lost on me. But anyways, scent-wise, I love it. So do I think this deserved an award? Again, I want more projection out of it, but that's kind of a preference, but the smell is phenomenal. So I'm still gonna say yes, because the scent is delicious. Let's talk about some bronzers, blushes, and other cheek products. So we have this from Patrick Ta. This is the Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. And it was awarded Best Powder Cream Duo, which is a very niche award. I don't know that there are so many powder cream duos that it was fighting against. So, you know, we'll start with that. But I do really like this product. But in my eyes, this is not the standout from Patrick Ta. If you were looking to buy one of the powder cream duos, I would direct you towards the blushes. I have the highlights, the blushes, and the bronzers. For me, the blushes are at the top spot. The bronzer is not bad. It's unremarkable in my eyes, but it's not disappointing by any means. The highlighters, you could probably skip. But again, for me, out of all three of those formulas, I don't know that the bronzer is necessarily the standout. Do I think this deserved an award? Not really, no. I think the blushes, but the bronzer, it's not bad. I think in general, Patrick Ta makes pretty phenomenal products. Many of them are good, you know, some duds thrown in there for sure. But this in particular, considering the price tag of it, it is $40. Like you could almost buy a palette for that price. I think there are other bronzers that I would direct you towards instead. I mean, granted, you are getting the two formulas in here, but still, if price is an important factor for you, I would skip this. They also awarded this one from Saie. So this fits under the best cream bronzer. So I have the shade Light Bronze, and it's really not like too light. You can probably see I have a considerable dip in this. I do really enjoy this formula. It's very easily blendable, and it's not too emollient. Some cream bronzers, in my opinion, are almost too dewy to the point that they're challenging to keep where you're putting them. So like once it goes onto the skin, not with this, but with some inferior formulas, in my opinion, they just start moving all around. They're not staying in place. They're then inevitably becoming rather patchy. That's never been the case with me for this one. I feel like it's incredibly user-friendly in that sense. It's blendable, it's pigmented, but not overly pigmented to the point that it's then challenging to use. I think it's a pretty good formula. Is it worthy of being the best bronzer of the year? I mean, it's good. It's good. but I have other cream bronzers that I like more. I don't know that this one was necessarily award worthy. While it's by no means disappointing, I don't know that I would have given this one an award. I don't know, maybe I'm being picky. I think I'm very picky, but I like to be really discerning in my reviews like this because I think it helps separate things from being good and great. And for me, this is good. It's very good, but it's not great. It's not like change your life, run to the store and buy it. You know, so few products really are. One that is certainly not, in my opinion, is the best waterproof mascara of the year. This one comes from Gen C. It is the Spectator Sport Mascara. I do not have this one at the moment because once I used it up, I did not repurchase it because I do not like this mascara. It retails for $24 and this was such a disappointing mascara for me. It did so little for my lashes. No length, no volume, just unremarkable in every way. I don't have anything good to say about this mascara. I'm shocked to see it win an award. But a mascara that I think was worthy of the award is this one from Essence. This is their Lash Without Limits mascara. This one, Best Lengthening Mascara. So this one retails for $5. I have mine in the brown shade naturally because you know my obsession with brown mascara. And this has a rubber bristle wand to it. It comes to a bit of a taper, but not too tapered. It's still a pretty large wand compared to some of the others on the market, but I find that this does give me some pretty great length. It's definitely not a volumizing mascara by any means, but the length is really beautiful from this. I wish it held curl a little bit better. That being said, I do have very challenging lashes. They not only are incredibly straight, but like they point down. So it's a huge feat whenever I find a mascara that I do think is effective at holding curl. This one, not so much, but the brown is beautiful. Minor smudging with this, in my opinion. On days that are super humid and I've been out all day, I will start to see some smudging. So I do want to call that out, but no more than most non-tubing mascaras. For me, unless it's a tubing or waterproof mascara, like I will get smudging at some point. I did want to call that out, but especially for the $5 price tag, it outperforms most of my high-end mascaras. So I was very excited to see this one win an Allure Best of Beauty award. I think it was definitely worthy of that honor. Also, I did a red lip today, kind of to fall in theme. I was trying to be on theme a little bit. You know, I wore my red vest, I wore my red lip. This is from the Lip Bar. It is the shade Boss Lady. But next up is a very controversial award winner, the Merit Solo Shadow. This one, Best Cream Eyeshadow. I will tell you right now, this is one of my favorite products ever. It is one of my most used products. Has a pretty huge dip in it, I think. For someone with a pretty substantial makeup collection. When this first launched, I liked it, but my love for it has grown exponentially this summer. Like I have reached for this pretty much every single day for the last few months. Like today, I'm wearing the Naked palette just because I wanted to switch it up. But even on my most recent trip when I was in Palm Springs for the Creators and Friends event, this is what I brought. I was wearing this every single day, just this one shadow. That's so me. I like to wear this every single day. I love a one and done shadow. And what I enjoy about this is that it doesn't require me to use a base. I don't have to lay down an eyeshadow primer. I can just apply this and I don't have to worry about like setting it with a powder shadow. It is just that. One and done. A lot of even like one and done shadows, it's like, you have to use a primer, you have to use this. No, this is one and done. So for that, I love it. But I do know this was a disappointment for a lot of people because the formula is somewhat, how am I gonna describe this? It's particular. It sets rather quickly. So once it's set down, it's really not gonna budge, which I find to be a pro of the product, but I do understand that can make it challenging to use for some people, especially if you're used to working with something that has a little bit more give to it. It's also one of those products that I really would only recommend if you're intending to use this solely on its own. Like I don't think products pair well with it. I don't think it works well to layer another eyeshadow on top of. I don't think it works well to be a base. I don't think it works well for a multi-shadow look just because it is so stiff and sets down so quickly. So it is very much a for who it's for type of product, but it is for me and I love this product and I use it every single day. So I think it was worth an award. I love this holo shadow. Okay, we have another random one. I know a hairbrush was kind of random to receive an award, but what about a hand sanitizer, okay? The Touchland hand sanitizer is the next on the list. I love these. This is like my everyday luxury. The packaging on this is the best part in my opinion. You just have the little sprayer and you can just spray it onto your hands like that. I always have this in my tote. This is one of those products that it's definitely a luxury. It's unnecessary for sure. You can sanitize your hands with something much less expensive than this one, but I do love these. It's very much worth it to me. So though you definitely can find other alternatives, this is a product I do enjoy having and I do think it was worthy of the award. Some lip products, of course, the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balms won an Allure Best of Beauty Award. They won Best Tinted Lip Balm, which is hilarious because I have so many shades and the one that I grabbed for this was the only non-tinted one that I have, but I love this formula. It's another one of those that is a bit of a splurge and you can absolutely find an alternative at a lower price that would nourish your lips and give it a little bit of a tint, you know? But this, in my opinion, is worth the price tag. I think they're phenomenal. They're so hydrating to my lips. I always have one of these in my purse. I love that each shade has a different scent to it. I think that adds to almost the luxury here. Even the component itself is very intuitive. It has this slanted applicator where it curves to your lips really effortlessly. So I love this. I think these are great. I was completely unsurprised to see this one win an award and I agree it was worth it. One that I don't have at the moment but I was excited to see on the list comes from CoverGirl. They won the best clear lip gloss for the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Yummy Gloss. And I really do enjoy that gloss formula. It has a large doe foot, which I personally really like. It's not too sticky. It wears relatively well for being a lip gloss. I mean, you know, they're definitely not known for being long wearing products, but I do think it stays on the lips better than a lot of other lip glosses. And I know it won best clear gloss in particular, but they do have a ton of shades as well. So that's one that I really like. And I think in general, it doesn't get too much attention anymore. I know when it first launched it did, but it's still a great formula. Some skincare products that won an Allure Best of Beauty Award. My favorite, I don't have it at the moment, but I believe I've gone through two of these, I believe. It is from Peach and Lily. It is their Ginger Melt Oil Cleanser. Currently, I have the Pharmacy Green Clean. That's another one of my favorites. That one I've probably used at least like 4 of those. I adore that product. But what I enjoy about this is the texture of it. It comes in a pump, and so it's really effortless and a little bit less messy than other oil cleansers because you can just pump it out onto your hand and it is a liquidy oil versus a solid oil. Obviously, they are not the only brand to have this type of product, but I do think the formula is fantastic, especially if you have sensitive dry skin like I do. I find it to be pretty hydrating as well. And one of my favorite Step 1 oil cleansers on the market by far. So definitely was worthy of an award. They also awarded the Rhode Glazing Milk. This one won the best essence. I have used this up. I did really enjoy this product. I enjoy a lot of Rhode skincare products. Yes, there are other milky essence type products on the market, so it doesn't have to be this one, but I do think it's a really phenomenal formula, so I was unsurprised to see that one win an award. But I was a little bit surprised by this hair award winner. So this one comes from Olaplex. This won the best blowout enhancer, which again is a pretty niche award. I don't know that it was competing against as many products as some of these other categories, but they awarded it to the Olaplex Volumizing Blow Dry Mist. I didn't love this product. I have fine hair, so that could be a contributing factor here, but even the blurb next to it actually says, when you have fine damaged hair like I do, getting it to hold volume can be almost impossible, but when I blow dry after spritzing this onto my roots, miracles occur. I do notice some lift from it, nothing really to write home about in my opinion, but the reason I didn't love this product is I felt that it made my fine hair and my roots look greasy so quickly from applying this to my roots. So I don't love that product. I think out of the entire Olaplex line, it would be one of the last ones I would recommend to you. I think there are much better products from Olaplex worthy of praise. So I wouldn't have given that one an Allure Best of Beauty Award. Would you have given any of these products awards? Let us know down below. I will have the full list linked if you want to check out what else won a 2024 Allure Best of Beauty Award. But thank you so much for watching, and I will go ahead and see you in my next video. Bye.